In today's video, I'm going to show you several shocking things within the economy, the housing market, and a few Las Vegas homes for sale that is repeatedly going to make you ask, is this a joke? And we're going to start with this.
And starting on day one, we will end inflation and make America affordable again.
So that is when the president was falsely promising on the campaign trail that he was going to end inflation. Let me ask you guys a question. 60 days into his new presidency, have you seen inflation go away or have you seen prices come down? Or how about his Commerce Secretary, Howard Lutnick, making these remarks?
Should Americans brace for a recession?
Absolutely not. I would never bet on recession. No chance.
And unfortunately, these tone-deaf remarks are from people that are leading the country. But in reality, as you can see right next to me, the pessimism amongst Americans right now in terms of consumer sentiment is at its lowest level in months. And as a result of consumer confidence becoming more and more negative, there's a lot of content creators out there talking specifically about the housing market and how there's an impending crash coming. Take a look at this.
Odds are we're going to enter a recession and exit a recession with home prices and interest rates going down. However, if we enter a depression, then I believe home prices will go down by an unimaginable amount.
There's no secret to what I believe is coming, and we're seeing it. People want to say, you've been talking about this for years, and all right. Well, when you start seeing inventory going up 40, 50%, 100% year over year, you start seeing price drops, you start seeing the days on the market, you start seeing sellers panicking, and you're talking to them, and you're like, yeah, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to drop your price.
Home sellers are now getting into a phase where they are starting to panic.
Housing prices are going to crash hard because all the aging baby boomers are going to sell their homes.
Now, here's the thing. A lot of people are talking about a recession and a housing market crash. And a lot of people know that when they lead off with negative headlines like this or negative news information, it gets a lot of attention. But in reality, things are very different. And I want to show you a couple of recent headlines that show you the exact opposite of what these people continue to say. U.S. housing affordability to worsen even as price rises slow. Trump's tariffs will raise the roof on home prices. Housing market squeeze. Income needed to buy typical U.S. home up 79% in 5 years. And just to prove to you how ridiculously high home prices are here in the Las Vegas area, take a look at that home right behind me. A little less than 9 years ago, this home was sold for just over $500,000. And then fast forward to the beginning of this year when the sellers put this home on the market for sale for a whopping $1.2 million. They have not been able to find a buyer. It's been reduced in price. I'm going to show you a few more details about this home a little bit later in the video, but it just goes to show you, as mad as people are, prices continue to go higher over the long run. And a lot of people, again, keep asking themselves, is this a joke? But unfortunately, the joke is on us, especially when it comes to buying high-ticket items like homes. But here's the thing. If you are thinking about buying a home, especially here in the Las Vegas area, I want you to stay tuned to the end of the video because I am going to show you one of the ways to get the best possible deal on a home. What's going on, my YouTube friends? This is Jerry Abbott, your #1 real estate resource here in beautiful Las Vegas. Hey guys, a couple of real quick things before we dive into the video. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to learn the cold hard facts about the U.S. economy, the U.S. real estate market, and specifically the Las Vegas real estate market, then make sure to subscribe to the channel down below. Number 2, if you happen to like the content in today's video, make sure to press that thumbs up like button, guys. That would really help the channel out. And number 3, if you are thinking about relocating to beautiful Las Vegas, whether it's next month or next year, I've got your back. I'm a local real estate agent here. I've lived here for 20 years. I know every inch of this city. When that time is right for you, definitely reach out to me. Just call, text, or email me anytime, and I'll help you find that perfect dream home. So as you saw at the beginning of the video, we all know that prices for everything throughout the economy are absurdly high, especially high-ticket items like buying a home right now. And again, that's why so many people continue to think that a housing crash or a correction is happening. But here's the thing. When we look at the chart that you're about to see, we really have to face the reality, especially of the housing market and the trajectory of it going forward. All right, so let's look at this U.S. housing chart. Take a look at the very top where it says median sales price of houses sold for the United States. And in that upper left corner, you can see in that yellow highlight, it says Q4 2024, $419,000. That's the median sales price right now in the United States. But more importantly, I want to break down the main chart down below here just to show you what's going on here and the trajectory of home prices. So let's take a look down at the bottom left of the chart. You can see in that small white box, it says Q1 1975, $38,000. That was the median home sales price 50 years ago in the United States. Then you can see the trajectory going all the way up here to the top right. When we get over here to the top right, you can see Q4 2024, $419,000. So in 50 years, the median home sales price has gone from about $38,000 up to just about $420,000. So what I want to do is I want to break down this 50-year chart into 10-year increments just to show you the trajectory of home prices and how they've been heading upward over this last 50 years. So again, if we go back to 1975, home prices were about $38,000. If we move right here to 1985, they were about $83,000. In 1995, they were about $132,000. In 2005, we were at about $233,000. In 2015, we were right at about $290,000. And now in 2025, we're right at about $419,000. So there's a reason why I'm showing you guys this chart. There's an old expression out there, when in doubt, zoom out. And when you zoom out and look at the 50-year housing price trajectory in the United States, you see that it's on an upward climb. Even when we've had corrections or crashes, like a lot of people recently are predicting, take a look at that chart. Prices continue to go up in the long run. So again, a lot of people are trying to time the market. And the best thing really to do is when you can comfortably afford to buy a home, you should buy a home and hold on to it, because when you look at the historical home price appreciation trajectory, it's usually always going upward over a long period of time. So that is the unfortunate reality. And here in Las Vegas, you can see right next to me, we are at record high home prices. But if that's not bad enough, I want you to take a look at this shocking short video clip coming up.
A study from Applied Analysis says at the pace of the valley's population growing, people moving here, and new homes needed, the valley is rapidly running out of land.
I get that question all the time. What are you talking about? There's land everywhere. 80% of that land is controlled by the federal government. That really limits us.
The study says across Clark County, 86% of land in the red is federally owned and managed by various agencies, the Bureau of Land Management. The white, what's left.
So when I see news stories like that, I ask myself, is this a joke? We have all of this land, yet it's not available for homes to be built on. And it's one of the biggest reasons why home prices here in Las Vegas continue to go up. It's all completely absurd, but that's the reality of the situation. And in this upcoming clip, I want to show you a few Las Vegas homes for sale to further prove just how crazy things have gotten here. All right, so now I'm on the popular real estate website Zillow that most of you are familiar with, and I wanted to show you a few examples of Las Vegas homes for sale, starting with this first one. Now, this home actually is no longer for sale because I just helped my client purchase this home. Now, you can see on the left side of the screen, this home closed for $1,630,000. It's a 5-bedroom, 4-bath, just over 3,500 square foot single-story home. But more importantly, take a look down underneath my picture on the bottom right in that green text with the yellow highlight. It says estimated market value, $1,729,000. So that's the estimated market value from Zillow, but we just purchased this home for $100,000 below that estimated market value. But more importantly, I want to show you the full pricing history of this home down below to show you the kind of discount that I got from the original list price that this seller was originally asking for. All right, so focus your attention down at the bottom of the screen in the blue highlight. Down at the bottom left there, the date says 4/5/2022. So we're going back just about 3 years ago when the sellers purchased this home for $1.3 million. Now, if we look just above that, about 2.5 years later, they put this home on the market for sale for a whopping $1.9 million. It was massively overpriced, and they started to reduce the price. You can see just above that, $1.85 million, no buyer. $1.79 million, no buyer. They removed the listing, then they put it back on the market. Then there was a contingent deal from my client, and then my client was able to purchase this home, and we negotiated it down to $1,630,000. So there's a reason why I'm showing you guys this example. Number one, I was able to negotiate almost $300,000 off the original price point from these sellers. But take a look right there in the middle of the screen. It says estimated net proceeds of $283,000. So the sellers in just about 3 years are going to net a little over $250,000 in that short period of time. Now, again, the real estate market has been crazy during the last couple of years, but it just goes to my bigger point, which is when you buy a home, when you can do it comfortably and own the home for a long period of time, not just a short period of time, but a longer period of time, it shows you what buyers are willing to pay and how much money a lot of these sellers are still able to make, even if they can't get those original list prices for their home. All right, so now let's take a look at this second example of another Las Vegas home for sale. Now, this is the home that I was standing in front of at the beginning part of the video. This home you can see on the left side of the screen is currently listed for $1,025,000, but just above that in that small red text, it says price cut $25,000. That happened just about a week or so ago. This is a 2-bedroom, 3-bath, nearly 2,300 square foot home. But more importantly, I want to show you the full price history down below. Okay, so again, take a look down at the bottom of the screen in the blue highlight down in the bottom left. The date there says 10/31/2016. So this is about 9 years ago when this home was sold for just $582,000. Now, if you look just above that in that yellow highlight with the date that says 1/2/2025, that means the sellers listed this home right at the beginning of the year for a whopping $1.2 million. They were not able to find a buyer because, again, it was massively overpriced for the comparable homes in this community. So they lowered it down to $1,100,000, then $1,050,000, and now the current price of $1,025,000. So again, there's two main takeaways here. Take a look down in the bottom right of that blue highlight. The original list price at the beginning of the year from these sellers was $1.2 million. Now, if we scroll up here and we take a look at the estimated market value from Zillow, you can see they have it right now at about $1 million. Now, Zillow's algorithm is not 100% perfect, but it's definitely getting more accurate. So here's the takeaway. If the sellers sell this home for about $1 million and they can't get their maximum price because, again, there are a lot of sellers that are still overpricing homes, even if they get $1 million, they bought the home 9 years ago for $582,000, which goes to the bigger picture that when people buy homes, especially when they bought them 10 years ago, and they hold on to them for a long period of time, they may not get their original list price, but they're still making a very handsome profit because, again, owning a home over a long period of time usually treats people very well from an appreciation standpoint. All right, so now let's take a look at this third example of what was a Las Vegas home for sale, but it closed a few months ago for $462,500. Now, that's below the median price point here in Las Vegas by about $23,000 because the median list price right now here in Las Vegas is about $485,000. So we're definitely coming down in price. But again, I want to show you the full price history down below because this is only a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,100 square foot home. But I want to show you where the original price point was compared to when it actually sold for. All right, so one more time, focus your attention down at the bottom of the screen in the blue highlight. Down in the bottom left there, the date says 3/3/2022. So we're going back about 3 years ago because, again, I want to show you what the original price was that the sellers bought this home for 3 years ago, which you can see on the right side of the highlight was only $349,000. Then we fast forward to the date just above it where it says 11/13/2023. They tried listing this home for $559,000 about a year and a half or so after they purchased it because they renovated the home and they tried to make a very large profit on it. They could not find a buyer, and you can see as we scroll up here, they definitely started to reduce the price. They went to $535, $519, $479, $475. They had a contingent offer. It didn't go through. And then the ultimate selling price, you can see in that yellow highlight right there, is $462,000. All right, so again, two very obvious takeaways from this particular example. The sellers of this home purchased the home about 3 years ago for a reasonable $349,000. They renovated the home, and then they tried to get a massive $200,000 price increase on the home, which they were not able to do because, again, it was massively overpriced. So again, there's still a lot of sellers that are definitely overpricing homes, and then it got reduced by about $100,000 down to $462,000 until it finally sold. So again, the takeaway is this. Yes, there are still a lot of sellers that are massively overpricing their homes, but again, at the end of the day, in a very short time period, the sellers still made about $100,000 profit on the home because, again, home prices, especially here in Las Vegas, and especially over the last few years, and definitely over the long term, are only going higher. So I know what some of you might be thinking when you see those kinds of examples. You might be thinking, hey, those sellers are finally waking up to reality and they have to drop their prices in order for those homes to sell. Well, there's two big takeaways from that. Number one, those sellers were delusional in those original list prices to begin with because those homes were not properly priced at a true value point. But the second big takeaway is even if they reduce the price of those homes like I showed in those examples and they eventually sell them lower than the original list price, they are still making a very large profit because, again, the floor is much higher now in terms of these price points. They're not back from 5 or 6 years ago from before the pandemic. We're at a new higher floor, and that's what's happening not only here in Las Vegas, but across the country. And before I close out the video, I just want to put up my favorite comment from last week, and that goes to Richard. Now, I'm going to put Richard's comments up here in full screen and read it to you, and then come back on the other side and comment on it. So Richard wrote, just bought a house in Vegas, but I feel like Las Vegas sellers have been irrational. They are listing homes that are $500 to $700 per square foot and then delisting and relisting them. There are only so many California buyers out there, and with high interest rates, not a lot of people can afford the homes. So there's two main takeaways from Richard's comment. Number one, he's correct about the fact that there still are a lot of irrational sellers out here in the Las Vegas real estate market, as evidenced by those examples that I just showed you guys a little bit earlier, where these sellers are almost intentionally overpricing their homes so that even if they have to reduce the price, they're still making a very large profit. But the second takeaway that Richard is incorrect about is that there really are still a tremendous amount of California buyers that can buy here, and there's also a tremendous amount of international buyers buying here in Las Vegas. So when you only have about 5,000 total Las Vegas homes for sale compared to the amount of people around the globe that can buy a home here, you can obviously see why the demand is so strong and why prices here in Las Vegas continue to go higher. So I want to hear from you guys. I want you to drop me a comment down below. I read and respond to all of my comments. I want to hear from you guys and get your opinion on whether or not you think with the new presidential administration in place for the last couple of months, with what's going on in the economy, the jobs market, I want to hear if you guys think that the wealthy people and the high income earning people, when it specifically comes to the housing market, are they the ones that you think are going to prop up the market? Or do you think the overall economy is going to suffer a recession and the housing market is going to go through a correction or a crash? And I want to know why you think that. And my favorite comment from this week's video, I'm going to give a direct on-screen shout out to in next week's video. So I just want to leave you guys with one final suggestion, which I think is a really good one for those of you that are thinking about buying a home. We all know that the people that are wealthy, the high income earners, the business owners, the current homeowners, the investors, they can still easily buy homes because they have the economic means to do so. But for those of you that have been on the borderline, the best thing that you can do is look for homes that have been for sale for several months or longer and have possibly gone through multiple price reductions, because you know those sellers are definitely more desperate. And when you do put in an offer, you want to put in an offer that's lower than that current asking price because you've got nothing to lose. That's what I'm doing right now with my clients here in Las Vegas, and that's why I've been able to get better deals for my clients. Now, if you are thinking about buying a home, especially here in the Las Vegas real estate market, I've got your back. I'm a local real estate agent here. I've lived here for 20 years. I know every inch of this city. When that time is right for you, definitely reach out to me. Just call, text, or email me anytime, and I'll help you find that perfect dream home. I'll see you in the next video.